This is Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony on FM 92.7 and AM 1400. The Answer.
Good morning, Detroit. Detroit's Morning Answer with John Anthony. If you missed that first hour, head over to theanswerdetroit.com. That's theanswerdetroit.com. Download the podcast. You can listen to the show no matter where you are. All right. There's peace in the Middle East. Is it? Is it firmly secured? I wanted to talk to somebody who was in the thick of everything as it relates to the distribution of food and supplies to the people of Gaza. Joining me now is Chapin Fay, spokesperson for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, an organization working at one of the most difficult intersections on earth, delivering life-saving aid to civilians caught in the middle of political turmoil, conflict, and deep humanitarian need. The foundation has been on the front lines, innovating ways to ensure food, medical supplies, and essentials reach families in Gaza, often against impossible odds. Today, we'll talk about GHF's mission, their breakthroughs, the challenges they face, and what the recent peace deal could mean for the future of humanitarian relief. Chapin Fay, welcome to Detroit's Morning Answer.
Thanks for having me. Good morning.
You know, for those who may not be familiar, what is the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation and what inspired its creation?
Sure, thanks. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is a independent, neutral, American humanitarian aid organization with one mission and one mission alone, which is to feed the people of Gaza in a way that Hamas or anyone else cannot steal, loot, or otherwise divert the aid. And we've had some success to the tune of more than 185 million meals put directly into the hands of the people in Gaza who need it most.
Wow.
So our model is unique. We have secure distribution sites, currently 4 of them. We were originally envisioned to have 8 and have them all over Gaza. And we have a workforce of local Palestinians from Gaza who run all of our sites. They're the ones who run the show. We couldn't do this without them. They are the first instance of interaction with the crowd, deliver the aid, and they work alongside our humanitarian teams, whose jobs are to have a dialogue with the aid seekers and make sure that everything is being done according to the humanitarian principles. And then we have armed security, who are highly trained, highly skilled and intelligent former U.S. Military veterans who are protecting everyone on site.
Yeah, you know, Chapin, you talked about how you were guarding against looting, stealing, because I got most of my news of what was happening in Gaza from Telegram, because I mean it was real, it was raw, it was live on the ground of Palestinians who were showing us what was actually happening. There were truckloads of food that Hamas had commandeered and they stole. Was that just this UN, or was that part of the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, where a lot of the stuff initially was being taken and not given to the people of Gaza?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation has had no looting, no diversion. Our aid convoys have never even been attacked. And we have, again, put over 185 million meals directly into the hands of the people of Gaza. And you've seen over the past couple of months, the United Nations and other international NGOs are having difficulty doing the same thing. I mean, they have a little bit of a different model, but you see, thousands, sometimes tens of thousands of desperate, hungry Gazans, converging on these convoys, making it very unsafe. Or at worst, like you said, you see armed men, presumably Hamas, driving these trucks around Gaza City and up in the north. So that was one of the challenges that GHF was created to solve for, right? To put food directly into the hands of the people who need it. And again, we don't distribute bulk. We have individual boxes that are designed to meet or exceed the nutritional values of the UN and other organizations. And our boxes contain enough food for a family of 5.5 to have 3 meals a day for 3.5 days. And our boxes are designed to be able to be carried by anyone, women and children. And so one of the reasons logistically Hamas has not been able to really interdict our aid is that if you're going to steal enough to feed yourself, your army of militants, or, starve your own people, or whatever it is that they were doing for nefarious purposes, you'd have to really take thousands of boxes off of thousands of people. And so not only do we have armed security protecting everyone's safety, just logistically, it's difficult for Hamas to do the same thing.
Yeah.
The last I will say about this, though, is we have an open invitation to collaborate with the United Nations. We have a model that works. They have unlimited aid. Imagine how many people we could feed if we were all working together.
Right. You answered my question about some of your biggest logistical challenges. You've answered that. But can you describe what I think is called aid verification looks like? How do you ensure that, that your supplies actually reach civilians and not armed groups?
Sure. So again, every one of the aid organizations, including us, is having operational challenges, right? This is the most complex humanitarian crisis of our lifetime, and it's happening during in an active war zone. So it's very difficult. GHF has a commitment to innovation, which we're very proud of. One of the things that we do, one of our challenges was that in the way we distribute aid in the early days, women or children could be left behind by the faster, fitter men who can run in and grab the aid first. So we started doing women's distributions only. Last week, we had up to 12,000 women on one site alone.
Wow.
And to answer your question, we put aid directly into their hands one at a time. They organize themselves. They now have local women volunteers among them that, volunteer to help us make sure that everything is done in a dignified, orderly, humane way. And one of our innovations is a reservation system. So we, many of these women have cards now. We take only, their name and their photo, and they can reserve aid at a particular time. And that way they don't have to, traverse a war zone at all hours of the day or worry about whether they're going to get something. They're guaranteed to get something. And the reservation system ensures that who reserved it, the woman who reserved it, gets it.
Yeah.
And so we don't share that information. It's completely encrypted and safe. And the only reason we are able to do some of these things is the trust that we've built over the last 4 months with the aid seekers. They rely on us, and we rely on them.
Yeah.
And we work together to feed everyone.
Now, you guys have used digital mapping and blockchain-based logistics to help you ensure transparency and minimize diversion of supplies. How has that helped?
So we have a commitment to transparency. We have a unique model in that we control our supply chain from beginning to end. So we, vet our suppliers very thoroughly. And like I said, we don't distribute bulk. So we have bulk food and materials shipped to our warehouses, which are on the Israel side of the border. And then we have workers who individually take those bulk shipments and pack them individually. And we control and we know exactly where each box is in our supply chain, which is very helpful. Because one of the reasons we exist is that the government of Israel lost faith in the legacy system for various reasons, not only diversion and looting, but also corruption and smuggling. And so those are some of the challenges that we solve for every single day. And like you said, we have a very tight control on our supply chain. We say no to more suppliers than we say yes to, because we know that, certain ones are trying to get their contraband in or use our supply chain for other nefarious purposes. So, we are very locked in on that front to make sure that every single piece of food and item gets put directly into the hands of the people of Gaza. And like I said, we've been successful. We've delivered 185 million meals in 4 months.
Wow. So what you're saying is, as you know, the USAID has been pretty much shut down because a lot of the monies that were going to a lot of these different NGOs were not getting to the source. And I think that's one of the things that Doge found out, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. How has the shutting down and the shuttering of USAID hurt what you guys are trying to do in Gaza?
Well, so we actually, I hate to say, have benefited somewhat. Many of our staff on the ground, particularly the humanitarians, come from USAID. Our executive director, John Acree, is a lifelong humanitarian. He came from USAID. He was, doing the same kind of work in Iraq and Afghanistan. So we have, a lot of experience. We even have people from, the United Nations, World Food Program, all that umbrella as well. And I'd also like to point out we have a very strong partner on our sites. It's called Samaritan's Purse.
Yes.
They've been on site for about 2 months, and they're delivering desperately needed medical aid. They've never turned anyone away. The local hospitals in Gaza can be stressed or politicized or whatever the reason, and they oftentimes turn people away. We never have, and now we've received word, from the people of Gaza that they know they can come to the Americans for the medical aid that they need. We're also very grateful. Samaritan's Purse has donated something called ready-to-use supplemental food, RUSF, which are little packets of children's nutritional, like little packets of peanut butter. And we hand those out during the women's distribution. And Samaritan's Purse has been a great partner. We're very grateful for them. We've also received a letter from over 200 international NGOs from over 15 countries urging the United Nations and the other humanitarian aid organizations to collaborate with us. Like with Samaritan's Purse, if we work together, we really can deliver, badly needed supplies and aid and medical aid to the people of Gaza. And that's really the whole point. So that's what we do every day.
Chapin Fay, it sounds like there are new models of humanitarian relief emerging that you believe will redefine how aid is delivered in modern conflict zones, especially as it relates to U.S. taxpayer dollars going to this. It sounds like there's now a way to do this where we can track the money, track the resources to ensure that the taxpayers' dollars are not just being given away. Is that what you're telling me today here on Detroit's Morning Answer?
Absolutely. We have to stop pretending that there's only one way to deliver humanitarian aid in Gaza, right? We innovate every single day. We are transparent. We admit our challenges and work to solve for them every day. We have a great relationship with the people we serve. Where we're located in Gaza. We're within reach of about 1 million people. Of course, the full population of Gaza is more than twice that, which is the reason we push every single day. We push the IDF, we push the government of Israel to expand the humanitarian zones, to do things safer, in a safer way, and to allow us to feed more people. GHF is very much pro-ceasefire. We were relieved and joyous with the rest of the world to see the hostages come back. And we stand ready, willing, and able to expand and continue feeding people every single day until the full need is met.
Now, because of the ceasefire, I'm told that your distribution sites have been shut down under the. Can you walk us through exactly what changed operationally for GHF since the ceasefire was implemented? And if you guys, I'm listening to you and I hear new innovation. I hear the protecting of taxpayer dollars. And now they want to offshoot this to the UN when you guys have proven that the work you're doing is groundbreaking. Why aren't you guys a part of this to stay in there to continue to assist Gazans?
Yeah, so our plan, so we do have some tactical operational changes during this transitional period. The Hamas and Israel are still sort of working on getting the hostages exchanged or the remaining, deceased hostages. And we stand ready to continue to work. Our sites are not closed permanently. And these, temporary tactical shifts during this transitional period do not affect our long-term plans or mission, which is to feed people. And I would also add that we are glad that the United Nations is going to take a leading role. When we were approved by the government of Israel after the blockade to operate in May, we pushed for the United Nations to also be approved, and they eventually were. GHF believes more aid into Gaza will solve many, many of the problems that everyone is wrestling with for this ceasefire and this long-term peace. So we're very happy that they are trying to move more aid in. We're just concerned with their ability to do the job. As you said, our model is working, and I believe there's a role for us moving forward. We were never meant to replace the UN. You may have heard that reported. That's
I wish you were.
Yeah. Well, listen, we want to work with the UN. Like I said, we have an open offer. Imagine how many people we could all feed if we were all working together. But we're in favor of more aid reaching more people. It's going to make it safer. It's going to make health outcomes better. A good humanitarian aid organization works to put itself out of business. So I hope the legacy system doesn't, come and get retrenched again. But again, we will play a part moving forward, and we will be one part of a bigger, more complex solution to what I would say is, the most complex humanitarian crisis of our lifetime. And so we'll see what happens through the end of this transitional period as the ceasefire takes shape.
Now, Chapin Fay, you spoke earlier about Gazans helping you guys. I just saw a video of 20 Gazans who assisted Israel that Hamas put together in a circle and just opened fire and shot and killed them. Are you concerned about the safety of those who were helping you organize and what's being done to ensure that them and their families are safe?
Sure, we are always concerned about that. I mean, that's one of the reasons we have these highly trained security professionals who ensure everyone's safety on site. The core of our workforce at GHF is our local Gazan workers who were always very concerned about the safety of them and their families. They, in fact, live on our site and have for a couple of months because of the Hamas threat. A couple of months ago, they used to take buses to our sites to work, and Hamas hijacked a bus, murdered up to a dozen or so folks right on the bus. And then the remaining survivors were brought to Nasser Hospital, and they were refused treatment, left to die in the courtyard of Nasser Hospital. They usually keep their faces covered. But we have an active threat assessment team. And again, our security team are some of the most elite, former military, U.S. military operators in the world. And they are there to protect everyone. They have actually never shot at anyone. We haven't had to shoot at anyone yet, despite what you read. We've had no casualties on our site other than 2 terrorist attacks over the last 4 months. And we're really proud of our safety record. Again, this is happening in an ongoing, or was up until this past weekend, happening in an ongoing war zone. So it is dangerous work. But our team has done an incredible job delivering over 185 million meals with little to no casualties other than terrorist attacks on our site. So yes, the Hamas threat is very real, and it's ongoing, and we are always concerned about that. We wouldn't be able to do the things that we are able to do without our security contractors. So we're very grateful for their work and their skill and their patience.
Wow.
Just as we are grateful for our humanitarian team and the local Palestinian workers who are all risking their lives every day just to feed their friends, neighbors, and community.
Chapin Fay, do you think if we had an honest media, this ceasefire would have happened a year ago? Because, I mean, you just mentioned them taking a bus and murdering and leaving people to die in a hospital. I mean, if the true atrocities were revealed to the American media, I think people would have really saw what was actually happening as it relates to Hamas and not placing so much blame on just Israel. When you think about the barbaric nature of some of the attacks and things that happened, it wasn't Israel. It was Hamas doing it to its own people. If we had an honest media, you think this ceasefire would have happened during the Biden administration?
Wow, what a question. There's no question that dishonest or misinformation reporting out of that region of the world is having negative consequences and is, in fact, putting people's lives in danger or more danger than they need to be. And perhaps there would have been a ceasefire earlier. Like I said, GHF has always been pro-ceasefire. It makes everyone's lives easier and safer, and particularly the aid seekers, which is what this is all about. So we're very grateful that the ceasefire it has been enacted, and we're eager to see it through here and to continue feeding people during this period. There's going to be a lot of work that needs to be done to rebuild Gaza, but we serve the people that we serve are. Is what it's all about. We see the same people day in and day out, and they tell us that they're relying on us to feed their families and survive in this very difficult place and time that they're living. So we're glad to do our part, and we're going to continue doing it until the full need is met.
Chapin Fay, I'm telling you, I know the conservatives that are listening to this show, the moment you mentioned Samaritan's Purse, it completely gave you credibility. At least to my audience. I know this for a fact, and I'm definitely going to keep my eye on you guys. I know you guys got a lot of critics, but you guys are doing God's work, and stay safe, and may God continue to bless you guys in the work that you're doing to bring dignity to people who need it, who are begging for it. So I really appreciate the work on the ground that you guys are doing over at the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, Chapin Fay.
Well, you said it, and we're going to keep feeding people until the full need is met. And I really appreciate you having me on this morning.
Yes, I will definitely lock you in. Chapin Fay, spokesperson for the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation. Thanks so much for joining us on Detroit's Morning Answer this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, we'll be right back.